Hello and welcome back to another video. Today here again on Forza Horizon 5 to take a very first look at the Series 21 update, which contains many new things, a few of which are available to us now straight after the update, and the rest of course comes along on Thursday when the playlist weeks turn over and we can start winning some of the new prizes. But like I say, before that, we already have access to 2 new Cupras, which have been gifted to us. I'll show you how to get those in a minute and take a little look. There's a new photo mode that's vastly improved, and some new Event Lab props, as there often are in these updates. So we'll take a look at all of those today. There are also some new Pathfinder Accolades available, which you'll be able to complete each week of the playlist from Thursday onwards. To obtain both of these new Cupras, you simply open up your pause menu, head across to My Horizon, Message Center, and then over here under Gifts, you'll see that you can claim the Cupra Formentor and the Tavascan concept. Let's start by taking a closer look at the 2 new Cupras then, gifted to us completely for free here in Forza without actually having to do any of the playlist. Beginning with this one, the Formentor, with 385 horsepower of Spanish Volkswagen boringness packed into an ugly crossover with a stupid name. Although, actually, as crossovers go, it's not as bad as some of them in its look or naming system, although those exhausts are quite ridiculous on a car like this. It also weighs 1,608 kilos, down to being this sort of vehicle, although unlike a lot of crossovers in a similar category to this, it is actually all-wheel drive rather than just looking like it's all-wheel drive. Although on a car quite this big, I don't know why you'd put 4 exhausts and carbon fibre. I think it's just ridiculous. That's not really what it's for at all. But it is a 740 here in Forza from standard, with that all-wheel drive system and some amount of horsepowers. Well, there are no advanced painting options. There are, however, 3 manufacturer colours: matte black, normal black, or matte blue. Okay, that's actually quite nice. I'm going to put that on. As you might expect on most cars in Forza, there isn't really any customization. There's Forza Aero, which for some reason is massive on this. I suppose it's a big car. The splitter actually doesn't look too bad, because there's already ridiculous amounts of carbon fibre down there, but canards on a crossover is just stupid. And you've got the hatchback wing, because of course you have. There are 1 engine swap option, an inline 4 turbo rally, and a rear-wheel drive conversion if you want to ruin it. Other than that, everything is as you would expect. There's all your usual tyre compounds, tyre widths, track widths, if you want to kind of improve the visuals a bit. But yeah, there's not anything exciting you can do with this rather bland car. Then we have this, the Tavascan, which appears to be very similar to the Formentor, but uglier, conceptier, and electricer. So is it shocking or electrifying? Well, it does produce 335 horsepower, but again, essentially it's a rebodied VW, a bit like the other one, being, I think, the ID5 or ID6 underneath. There's many of those now, so one of those. But of course, being an electric vehicle, it weighs more than the moon at 2,268 kilos, which is a lot more than even that other Cupra, which is a big, heavy crossover, almost SUV. Although being an electric vehicle does mean it has all-wheel drive with motors connected to all the wheels, putting it at B677 here in Forza. But yeah, it's not very powerful and it's quite heavy, so I think it's going to be more of a Tavascan than a Tavascan, to be honest. This concept-y one actually has a rather cool interior, although I'm never quite sure about bronze accents, but the blue and the sort of style of it's rather cool. But both of them being big, essentially practical family vehicles, means they're not all that exciting to drive standard. They're both rather heavy, and neither of them are that powerful. Just like the other Cupra then, there are no painting groups, and only 1 colour because it's a concept and not a real vehicle. In terms of kind of upgrades and customization stuff, there's your usual Forza Aero, just like on the other one. Not quite sure why we've got that rear wing though, but anything would look stupid. What there is though is a 670 horsepower race motor, which you can then upgrade to have 1,147 horsepower. So as this is essentially a boring heavy car that's not going to be very good at anything, I think we should just do that, and then what we can also do is weight reduce it slightly. It still weighs more than the other Cupra, but 1,700 kilos is a bit of an improvement. I suppose while we're here we could also raise suspension, but yeah, all your other options are kind of as you would expect. So it's now essentially undrivable, and the gearing means it's limited to 91, which is presumably less than its standard top speed, so we might have to tune that a bit. And just like that, we fixed it. It now goes mini fast, but it's still gear limited to 184, so it's not as spectacularly, that didn't work, fast as I thought it might be. So it's still a bit rubbish, really. Definitely a Tavascan. Oh yes, of course, it is now possible to get the T-Rex badge for owning 700 unique cars in this series. So that one I've missed, and this is another badge you can unlock after doing all of the Pathfinders, which I've just found. Over here in Evolving World, not only do we of course have the new cars, one to collect all of the new cars in the playlist this time, although interestingly that doesn't include these, probably because they were gifted to us, but there is a new Pathfinder tab for you to, well, unlock the accolades throughout the playlist. I don't think any of these will be possible until Thursday, but there's different things for the different series, showing you where the different start points for the new Pathfinders are. One of them unlocking you Morris Traveller by completing all the others. So that's where those are if you want to see how you're progressing on those once the playlist starts on Thursday. Some of them will be available to do each subsequent week. So, if either of the new Cupras don't take your fancy, there are some new modifications for some cars that might, or I use the term cars very loosely, trucks. There should be, if I'm correct, yes. That option is now available for many things, although it's kind of disappointing that the metal rack doesn't fill the truck bed on this. So you might recognise this from the Rally expansion. It was available on the Ford Lightning pickup truck. But yes, it is now going to be it's available essentially on all trucks, including the new ones coming out in the playlist. But it means you can put that on things like this. Some things appear to have some new, light things, but I'm not sure if they were there or existing. But that means you can have, well, not only the built-in lights on the roof, but the extra ones, and the front ones, and this back bit. Which, with the orange, I have to say, looks really good on this truck against the orange accents. Even though I don't like the look of either of the new Cupras particularly, I am going to use this Formentor to test out the new updates to photo mode, because it's new and because it's slightly less hideous than the other Cupra. So let's go and find a nice location to try this out. So then, just to have a play about with the new photo mode, I've come down here to the expensive house, which is probably not a bad backdrop. It looks a little bit like a Spanish villa, so we can park our Spanish car here, I suppose. That's not a great angle, is it? Don't know why I'm turning the front wheels either, because that's a thing now. So, anyway, shall we try and get the camera sort of here? There. Doesn't look too bad, and from here everything is kind of as it was. But, if we go into effects mode, first of all you'll notice there's kind of further down that we can scroll. Everything else is kind of as I've left it. But yes, things start getting interesting here. Because, yeah, I was starting to worry that it was a bit dark to try this out, but of course, I completely forgot that one of the new features is this. So we can go dawn, sunrise, morning, early afternoon, late afternoon, sunset, evening, or night. So yes, I am aware that the time of day and then this thing, weather, were available in the Crew 2 for several years now, but it is still a helpful feature to have and does make quite a difference. So if we go to early afternoon, Or late afternoon, was that better lighting? No, you can see the house better there. Okay. Then this is a good bright setting for me to show you the weather. Let's see, we've got clear post-rain, so everything's slightly damp. That actually looks better, I think. Kind of makes the ground slightly darker. We've got cloudy, which then, of course, makes the light on the car and house go away a bit. Cloudy post-rain, so the ground's wet, but dark. Overcast, kind of like cloudy, I suppose. Light precipitation, so it's actually raining, so then the car goes gloss rather than matte, of course. Heavy rain. Oh, wow, and then it goes really dark. Okay. Gale. And fog. Ooh, that's quite cool, actually. Let's leave that on for the moment. Then, yes, steering. Straight. As it was when I parked. I don't really know why this is such a big deal, because you just park with them facing the way you want them. I always turn them when I open the camera, so that they look like that. Anyway, you've got straight, you've got to the left, and you've got to the right. Although I think where I had them... No, that was full lock. Okay. Left, right, centre. Then, there's more, yes. Drivers. Enabled. Okay, no, that's wait. Okay, this is the new bit. Enabling or disabling the driver was there before. But you can have them in the driver's seat. Centre front, where they're not really in shot. Right front, over there. Right side, right back. Centre back. I thought these were football positions. Left side. Ooh, left front, very close. Okay, we probably want him there then for this shot, but there's many options. And then you can use any emote that you have unlocked. It doesn't have to be the one applied. So there's waiting, which apparently is standard. Whatever that is. Oh my god. Why? It is quite interesting. Like, you can make many, many things now. And it means I can forevermore have my character in a thumbnail. I wonder if there's somebody parked next to you also taking photos, whether you can see their characters. I'm just thinking for, like, challenge videos. Can we have both of our characters in front of a car? Can we have one where he's actually looking this way? Because I always want to take it from this angle on a car, really. But all of them, he's, like, looking that way. What? Why are there so many? Okay, that's kind of cool. There are a lot of them, aren't there? Okay, I'm going to get the Archer one, because at least he's sort of looking this way. Crowd wheel, these are all things that were here before. Guidelines is also new, so you can see what it would look like. Okay, so I thought you'd be able to take it as a portrait. That's to do with the guidelines, so that you know if you were to, like, screen grab the middle of it for something. That's what the portrait would look like. There's also, yeah, there's just different aspect ratio guides, so you can tell how it would look if you were to crop it to those. And there's the grid to see if everything's centered, which I suppose would be kind of useful, but I'm probably not going to use those. But yeah, placing the driver, I mean, time of day and turning the wheels and stuff's just useful. Placing the character is kind of fun, but that's going to wear quite quickly, I think. Although, yeah, maybe useful to have them in thumbnails, I don't know. But anyway, photo mode being updated probably is the biggest feature of this update. I know we've already seen 2 new cars, the 2 extra ones, but that's essentially Cupra just getting free advertising, isn't it? Similar with the Urban Rebel they gifted us a while ago. I think they're going to keep adding these. There was a Dark Rebel or something. There's another Cupra concept that's been spotted in the files as well that potentially they'll gift us soon. So yeah, it's just a way of bringing a new brand in and Cupra getting their name out there, because, well, not a lot of people know about them because they've renamed themselves from Seat for some reason. Or tried to make themselves a posher version of Seat. But anyway, yeah, 2 new cars already, and photo mode is the biggest feature. But that's not all. I think we should go and have a quick look at these new Event Lab props. Do I get an accolade for taking a photo with the new photo mode? No, but I have now photographed one of the new cars. Excellent. Oh, there we go. There is an accolade. Take a photo with wheel tilt enabled. Oh, right. I thought I put it back to standard. Anyway, we're getting many accolades for photo things, which I thought we might. But yeah, I'm getting distracted. Let's have a look at these new props. So, we've come here to the top of the mountain so we can build outwards. You'll see why that is relevant in a minute, because there's now racetrack props, essentially, which you may recognise from the oval track in the stadium. We've now got snappable, very nice and wide racetrack pieces, which are very helpful, because look how long it is. I did start trying to build a track along here before, but with little square car park snappable pieces, it takes forever. So this is quite a bit quicker. I will be doing a closer look at the Event Lab props in a video, hopefully tomorrow, so you can see every single one of them, and I'll try actually finishing making something. But for now, I just want to open up and see how it works, because you've obviously got, although that's not very helpful at the moment, banked things. So what you have got is a ramp going from not banked to banked, I think. So I think you then, hang on. Yeah, then you can have a banked thing. Obviously this doesn't work here. You'd have to go the other way. Please tell me that's an option. Okay. It is, but then that's, okay, you'd have to... You have to think about which way the corner's going to go before you start. Although that's kind of irritating, because if you then want... Say I wanted a corner going the other way... Okay, it's going to be slightly limiting, because there's kind of like a curb on one side. I suppose this would work. Oh. It's a bit fiddly, as Event Lab always is. I suppose this would work, but you're going to have irritating bits where the lanes don't line up. So, I guess you'd have to turn nodes off, and then try and line the lines up. Suppose you could do that and just have, like, a bit of overlapping. But the whole point of snappable pieces is you don't have to line stuff up. So yeah, it's a little bit irritating and fiddly, but I suppose it means only certain things need doing by eye, and most of them can snap. Or you just accept that your lanes are slightly wonky in places, which I suppose is the priority if you're trying to make a nice, smooth track. Presumably, yeah, this is kind of like a tarmac surface, very much like the oval in the stadium. Oh dear. So, yes, these are all of your racing props. They're kind of self-explanatory. You've got corners going both ways, or corners that are all... I'm not sure what the difference between that banked corner and that banked corner is. Anyway, those are your options. There's many banked corners. This one's kind of dropping slightly. Is that one fully banked? No, they're all either going up or down, which is a bit weird. There's not just like a flat banked corner, unless that's what that is. No. So yeah, a bit limiting, but those are your track options. There are also, though, apparently... Is this going to have its own tab? Ah, yes. Decoration, apparently, is where they put these. There are things for making photo studios with your new photo mode. So you can put a lighting thing. Many lights. Basically, there's lots of options for lighting now. So you can make a photo studio, which is brilliant, because lots of people are trying to, kind of attempting to do this with the existing props, but I think I've placed them all. Yeah. So that didn't quite work. Half the grids kind of started off the track, so I had to reset car position to actually get up here, but let's have another last look at this. So this way we also get a better look at the character emotes, but I'm going to go straight into here, turn this to night. Ah. Okay, well I found a flaw with the updated photo mode. You can't change time of day in an event. Which means if you made something with these new lighting props, you can't then set it to nighttime. You just have to hope somebody's made a nighttime event with those props. Yeah, you can't do weather or time. Right, well that's a huge disappointment, I'll be honest. How is that not a possibility? And on that slightly disappointing note, that is going to be all for today's video. Bit of a longer one than usual, but there were quite a lot of things to look at, even if not in all that much depth so far. 2 new cars is always great to have, not necessarily ones I would have wanted. The electric one I still think's quite hideous, but this one's grown on me a bit. I actually think it's not a bad looking car at all, having spent some time messing about with it in photo mode and such. The customization for the pickup trucks is brilliant to see on so many more vehicles, although they did kind of say it was brand new when it came out in the Rally expansion, so it's quite new, but it's great to see it rolled out onto more vehicles nevertheless, and that will also be available on a lot of the new trucks in the playlist. The new photo mode is great to see it improved finally. It was a bit overdue, and I know a lot of games have done that sort of thing already, but the time of day and weather is going to be so useful and make it so much more flexible to use. The wheel angle and the characters, I guess, are kind of interesting, but I think that's going to wear a bit boring. Like I say, the wheels you could move anyway, and the characters is just a bit of a gimmick, but it's kind of fun to have it in there, and while they're updating it, they might as well add a few more features. But that'll be super useful. The new Event Lab props look fun. I'll give a proper go trying to build something with those soon, but a little bit fiddly lining them up if you want corners in other directions. As you might expect with Event Lab, it's never straightforward. Hopefully things will save if I build them with those, though, because I've had troubles with that in the past. But we'll wait and see. I'll try and build something with those very soon. But yeah, overall, a great update, great to have all of that. And of course, that's not all, because we have the Pathfinder Accolades, which we'll begin to complete in the playlist, and 4 new vehicles to unlock, as well as these 2, with actually 6 new ones in total in this update, which is kind of unheard of as of late in Forza. So yeah, it's looking like a good one, continuing the trend of great updates we've had in the last 3 now in a row have been really good compared to the ones before. So that's great to see. Let's just hope that continues. For now, though, for a very first look at Series 21 update, that is going to be all. So thank you very much for watching, and I will be back with the next video very soon.